My Father, my Maker. Jehovah overdo. One who has no size. Sir, ma, hear this. We are going to pray. And we go home. We will not pray so many prayer points. This one only. But I want somebody to hear it very well, because it's coming from the womb. It is prophetic for someone here like me. If you are the one, say, that is my word.
That is my word.
I am expectant.
I am expectant.
Sir, the Lord appeared to Joseph at the age of 17. I want people to respond like they know the prophecy for 2019. One of them is that it is the release of Joseph from prison, because the time for him. So you better hear me very well. At the age of 17, the Lord appeared to Joseph and gave him dreams. In the revelation, in the dream, he saw people bowing for him. His family, including the whole world. That was the dream. But where Joseph was found, that was not the world. He was in a localized place. That God has given you a vision for the world doesn't mean you must have a leg in every part of the world. The God who made heaven and earth is the one that will make sure the dream comes to pass. Now, he was not the firstborn.
No, he was not.
Alifekumchira, number 11. But he believed in what God showed him.
Amen.
He shared. What followed after sharing was rejection. Now, at that point, Satan woke up and began to use human beings to try to oppress Joseph, so that dream does not come to pass. According to Satan, he says, wait a minute. Since what he saw first was that his relative bowed to him, Satan orchestrated that he be taken away from his relatives, so that let us see how it shall come to pass. So, hatred among brethren. The idea was to make sure he's pushed out of the family. They wanted to kill him, but something stronger than them couldn't allow them to kill. So, they pushed him away. And guess what? To see that it is really about dreams, they say, let's deal with him this way so that we see what will become of his dreams. So there was a demon behind, and that demon was against the dreams. So Satan said, hey, I have achieved it. Let's see how he will become now that he's far away from his family. Because according to Satan, he says the only way this man can become a global figure, it has to start from his family according to the revelation. But sir, Satan, you are not the interpreter of this revelation. That you have stopped someone entering grade 10 does not mean you have stopped the man from getting a degree. I don't know if you're catching me.
Yes, sir.
So Joseph was taken away from his family. Told all manner of lies to the father, so that the father thought Joseph was dead. My Father in heaven, help us this moment.
Amen.
But remember, what Joseph had was a dream.
Oh, yes.
And every dream requires interpretation.
Oh, yes.
Amen.
And interpretation is done by an interpreter.
Oh, yes.
But here is a problem. The people who heard about his dream, who sat and thought that potentially among them could come up somebody with interpretation, they were out. Because I don't see Joseph sharing this dream with anybody again. So how will it become interpreted? According to Satan, says, I have done it. Because among these, maybe one of them could have been you need to be told the dream to interpret the dream.
Oh, yes.
According to the natural.
Oh, yes.
But God had another way.
Amen.
So, Joseph, forgotten, 13 years. Sir, I want to tell you something.
Amen.
It was not the brothers of Joseph who came to the night to give him the dream. So, if they choose to be out of the picture, they are not a factor. The giver of dreams has everything under control.
Amen.
The only person who can stop the dreams is if the one who dreamt has come out of the way. That one person left you, who you believe was an interpreter, that doesn't mean the dreams have failed. It is that person who has failed to be identified with your honor.
My God.
Satan knows we are about to pray. Because something is about to change in the heavenlies.
Amen.
Now, sir, there is God in heaven.
Amen.
Listen, your dream that you have, that vision you have, it requires an interpreter.
Amen.
And it has to be a human being. And Satan knows that you need a human being. Therefore, is chasing certain human beings not to come closer to you.
Oh, yes.
For fear of interpretation.
Oh, yes.
And is causing other human beings not to do what they are supposed to do. For fear of interpreting your dream. And yet he doesn't know which one is God going to use. So every time Joseph came to a place and things were going well, something bad was happening.
Oh, yes.
Because Satan was thinking maybe something terrible was happening.
My God.
In Potiphar's house, something terrible happened.
Oh, yes.
It's like a spirit of rejection is following
That's
him.
true.
A righteous man may go down 7 times.
Oh, yes.
He will rise again.
Amen.
Somebody will rise again here.
Amen. Oh, yes.
13 years they had forgotten about Joseph. They believed he's dead. Sir, a man with a vision doesn't die easily. So now, rejection has followed Joseph. The man is highly favored, but the demons of rejection, they are still following him. Yes, so his life is like very much accepted. But while he has been accepted very well, the demon of rejection will just bounce one day. And again, everything tumbles down. So he moved from Potiphar's house to prison. And Satan says, hey, we will see now. I was afraid of you when you were in Potiphar's house, because Potiphar is closer to a seat of power. And the way you were rising, you were a threat to me. Now we will see what happens to you in prison. Somebody catch me?
Yes, sir.
So Joseph was in prison. Psalm 105. Please give me the verse. Let me pick it up from verse number 15. Psalm 105. Verse number 15. I don't want touch not my anointed. Give me 16. Moreover, he called for a famine. My father, my father. He called for a famine upon the land. He broke the whole staff of bread. Verse 17. 17. He sent a man. He sent a man. To me, it doesn't look like he was sent. Some of you found yourself in a certain place because of affliction. And so you don't see that God sent you there. So no, I came to the mountain because I had a challenge. No, God sent you here. No, I came, I was looking for healing. God sent you here.
Oh, yes.
No, it is just circumstances because I couldn't go anywhere. No, God sent you here.
Amen.
So he sent a man before them. Even Joseph, put your name there.
Oh, yes.
Even David,
Patience.
who was sold for a servant. What? Now, the dreams you had and this thing that is happening, is it not contrary?
It is.
It's contradicting something here. Eh? Sold for a slave. Your dream was that you were a master. But in reality, they are selling you as a slave. Because what is of interest to God is of interest to Satan.
Amen.
When God speaks prosperity, Satan will bring you to a level of lack and want, whereby you cannot find a 50 kwacha. And yet your destiny is prosperity. Your destiny is thousands and thousands. First he will reduce you to hundreds. And yet you are a mega church pastor. Hey, let's go. He was sold for a servant. Ela antokotokoto, whose feet they hurt with fetters. He was laid in irons. You can put my feet in iron, my hands in chains, but you cannot chain my dreams. I like it putting it the way God spoke to me about this scripture a long time ago. Many times when you hear me speak it, I say it the way he said it, not the way it's written there. There it says, until the time that his word came. For me, it says he was in prison until his word came. That's how I command this too. He was in prison until his word came. He was in prison until his word came. That until his time came, rather, that the word of the Lord came, and the word of the Lord tried him. Now I want you to hear what happened, because you are about to call on God. Something must change in your favor. Amen. Sir, in prison, something happened.
Amen.
Joseph began to realize that the only person who can help him to interpret the dream is Pharaoh. The moment Satan got wind of it, he blocked any access of Joseph to Pharaoh. Or Pharaoh to Joseph. Actually, Joseph to Pharaoh. He blocked. The man who went back to Pharaoh, he caused him to forget. Now, I'm showing you Satan. Because what you read, you are seeing physical things written. I'm showing you Satan behind the scenes. And he can only do small things. But when the time has come like it came, nothing can happen.
Amen.
Amen. So now, listen. And I want you to listen very well. The king sent for him. loosed him and sent for him. Remember, God showed him that Joseph was great. He was a global figure.
Amen.
Somebody needs to interpret that dream.
Amen.
Look what God did. He caused the Pharaoh to dream. And the dreams of Pharaoh, he made sure nobody can interpret except Joseph. So that Joseph and the Pharaoh must meet.
Amen.
Mumfikisha hapa ninji shibatamulire but mumfikishe. Joseph and the Pharaoh must meet.
Amen.
Pharaoh has a dream. Nobody knows the interpretation except the man in prison.
Amen.
And the man in prison has a dream.
Oh, yes.
He's looking for an interpreter.
Ah, yes.
I am about to cause some commotion in the heavenlies so that you, Mr. Joseph, and your Pharaoh, you must collide. It's about time.
Amen.
And what he shall bring you together, it is a word that must locate Joseph.
Amen.
As it is locating Joseph, it is causing Pharaoh to dream.
Amen.
But get this. Pharaoh's dreams are fresh.
Yes.
Joseph's dreams are old. It is the interpretation of a fresh dream that will cause an old global dream.
Oh, yes. Jesus. Help me.
Please, Joseph and the Pharaoh need each other.
Amen.
But Pharaoh needs Joseph now.
My God.
So he leaves prison to go and solve a problem for Pharaoh. What is the problem Pharaoh has? He needs interpretation.
Interpretation.
What is the problem Joseph has had for 13 years? Interpretation.
Amen.
If while you are waiting for your dream to be interpreted, and then you are getting bitter, your dream may not be interpreted. Be very careful, because somebody else who dream his small dream of yesterday and your own for a long time is not coming to pass. And even when you are hearing people are sharing testimony, you are saying, God, what happened to my prayers? Don't have that kind of attitude.
My God.
Be grateful
Amen.
that at least God is in the business of interpretations.
Amen.
Just when he tells you, no, don't do this. After all, when you do this, they forget you. I beg. It is not that one you needed. It's Pharaoh you need.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Your dream, the interpreter for your own is Pharaoh.
Oh, yes.
You are a solution to Pharaoh.
Amen.
And Pharaoh is a solution to you.
Amen.
We must break the war here.
Amen.
So that Joseph and Pharaoh must meet in this month of the Lord's visitation.
Amen.
If you meet Pharaoh, don't worry about a criminal record. Pharaoh has the executive power
Oh, yes.
to erase criminal records.
Amen.
Sir, hear this. Joseph is called, and Pharaoh is the first one who says, I had this dream. And Joseph interprets the dream for Pharaoh. In the same session, I want you to hear this.
Yes.
Now, in 41, in Genesis 41, I want us to pick it up very, very slowly from verse 38. Now listen. This is Pharaoh. After Joseph has just interpreted his dream, immediately Pharaoh, with his own mouth, he says this. He says, can we find such a one as this? Even before I go far. You see what he's saying? He has started interpreting Joseph's dream. Oh, wait.
Sagaba.
In whom is the spirit, or in whom the spirit of God is. Hear this. Next verse. Please, this is Pharaoh talking. And the Pharaoh said to Joseph. Hear the interpretation of Pharaoh to the dream of Joseph.
My God.
He says, for as much as God has showed you all this, there is none so discreet and wise as you are.
Oh yes.
So what are we going to do? Verse 40. Let's go. He says, you shall be in charge over my household, and according to your word shall all my... Did Joseph ask for any favor for interpreting? Did he ask you, pay me so much?
Nothing.
He discerned already that as I interpret, Uyuno is a man I needed to meet.
Oh yes.
Once we meet. While I'm helping him fulfill his destiny, he's helping me to fulfill my own.
Amen.
You will provoke that man to appear to you.
Amen.
There are not many men. No.
One.
It just needed one Boaz
Only.
for the story of Naomi and Ruth to change immediately. By the way, Boaz was not even like the first man. There was even an obstacle. But when God moves,
Oh yes.
he says, the people shall be ruled by your word. Only in the throne will I be greater than you.
My God.
Now, if Pharaoh aleva Joseph, I can't feel many years. Look at the one who is interpreting Joseph's dream. It is Pharaoh. Who is interpreting Pharaoh's dream? It's Joseph. Let me not go far. We will take up prayer here.
Higher.
We will say, Father, the interpreter, not an interpreter, the interpreter to the dream that I was born for.
Kalaba.
Let me meet him.
Oh yes.
Let me meet him.
Amen.
It's not interpreters, no. Thank God for all these people that are used to connect you. It is that man you need, oh. The interpreter of the dream I was born for. I'm talking about the dream. The dream that interprets all other smaller dreams of yours. That's what I'm talking about. A dream that ushers you into dreams of dreams.
Amen.
A breakthrough that makes you to be in the realm of breakthroughs the rest of your life. An opening that makes openings a reality through you. I don't know if you're getting me. There is one miracle that will cause all the other miracles to keep happening the rest of your life.
Amen.
Father, the interpreter to the dream, the interpreter to the dream I was born for, the dream that I live for, Lord, let me meet him.
Amen.
Did he have to call for a meeting? Say, let's discuss tomorrow. If you are Chiranda, immediately the man was talking. That one particular interpreter makes all your 21 prayer points swallowed.
Yes.
Amen.
No, Lord, after I come from prison, help me so that I find a job. Then I want to marry. I'm 30 years old now. Did he have to make that prayer?
No.
Did he have to make prayer for a job?
No.
Did he have to say, Nala kula bomba pa bakam promoter through the ranks, have become the greatest man?
No.
He became the greatest man immediately by Pharaoh's own mouth.
Amen.
Someone is stepping in there.
Amen.
Somebody say, Father, the interpreter.
The interpreter.
Huh? Are you sure you are with me? Let me call him. No, if I say my interpreter, you think there are many. That's why I want to say the interpreter for the dream that I was born for. Somebody say, Father, the interpreter for the dream I was born for.
the dream I was born for.
In this month of the Lord's visitation,
In this month of the Lord's visitation,
let me meet him.
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 Lift up your voice like a serious person.